Salvete omnes. Today we will be learning from Chapter 4 of Wheelock, which includes second declension neuter nouns and adjectives, the present conjugation of the verb sum, and substantives. As I'm sure you all are tired of me repeating by now, nouns in Latin have certain genders that help with their declension. The first declension is almost always feminine nouns, and the second declension encompasses both masculine nouns, which end in us or er, and neuter nouns. As you might have noticed from looking at your vocab lists, in general, nouns indicating male beings are masculine, and ones indicating female beings are feminine. However, there are some exceptions, including nouns like nauta, which are feminine in declension but masculine in meaning, and words like virtus, virtutis, which is feminine but means manly Roman virtue. What is important to remember about genders in Latin is that they are a grammatical concept, not a natural one. Make sure you are memorizing the genders as well as the definitions of all nouns when you study vocabulary. Second declension neuter endings are the exact same as second declension masculine endings, except in a few cases, which are highlighted on your screen. The masculine singular is instead of us. This is the same for the vocative singular. The most important change is in the plural. The neuter has the same ending in the nominative plural, accusative plural, and vocative plural. This ending is a, which can make it easily confused with feminine nouns. Yet again, context will help you figure out whether you are looking at a feminine singular or a neuter plural. Another thing I want to highlight about these nouns is what I like to call the neuter rule. The neuter rule just helps you remember that the neuter will always have the same endings in the nominative, accusative, and vocative in both the singular and plural. I've turned these green on your screen so you can see how this works. You can see the declension of a second declension neuter noun on your screen with the noun concilium, concilii. Following the rule of base plus endings, you get the following forms: concilium in the nominative singular, concilii in the genitive singular, concilio in the dative singular, concilium in the accusative singular, concilio in the ablative singular, and concilium in the vocative singular. Concilia in the nominative plural, conciliorum in the genitive plural, conciliis in the dative plural, concilia in the accusative plural, conciliis in the ablative plural, and concilia in the vocative plural. This chapter also introduces the present conjugation of the verb sum esse, which means to be. This is only the most important word in the whole language. You'll recognize the personal endings, but the stem of the verb is very irregular. You will have to memorize it. Sum esse is an intransitive verb, which means it cannot take a direct object. This means no accusative noun will follow. On your screen, you can see the conjugation of sum esse in the present active indicative. The first person singular is sum, the second person singular is es, the third person singular is est, the first person plural is sumus, the second person plural is estis, and the third person plural is sunt. Because sum is intransitive and cannot take a direct object, it instead takes a predicate nominative, a second nominative that qualifies the first. I like to think of the forms of sum as an equal sign, meaning roughly that the nominative equals the predicate nominative. Some examples of this you can see on your screen. In the sentence fama Virgilii est magna, fama is your nominative and magna is your predicate nominative. Thus, fama equals magna. Fame is great. In the sentence amicae sunt boni, amicae is your nominative and boni is your predicate nominative. Thus, amicae equals boni. Girlfriends equal good. The final grammatical concept in this chapter is substantive adjectives. Just like in English, Latin will often use adjectives like a noun. Some examples of this in English are the phrases, the meek shall inherit the earth, out with the old, in with the new, and the good, the bad, and the ugly. In each of these cases, the bolded nouns are substantives, or adjectives used in the place of a noun. In Latin, You determine how to translate the substantive based on its gender and number. In the first example on your screen, bonos is translated as good women because it is feminine and plural. In the second example, multi is translated as many men because it is masculine and plural. One of the most common substantives you will see is the neuter plural as blank things, as you can see in the example of mala on your screen, which translates as bad things. The story on the worksheet for this chapter was written by Cicero. Marcus Tullius Cicero was born in 106 BC and died in 43 BC. His name, Cicero, means chickpea in Latin. Based on the Roman naming custom of giving people nicknames based off of their physical appearances or occupations, this name probably means that Cicero or one of his ancestors either had a mole or something that looked like a chickpea, or were somehow involved in chickpea trade. Cicero is one of the best-known figures of the ancient world. This is because he just loved himself so much, he ordered his servant to preserve all of his speeches and personal letters for publication. Michael Grant, a famous classicist, once said the influence of Cicero upon the history of European literature and ideas greatly exceeds that of many other prose writers in any language. That's all for this video. Try to start working on your worksheet for this week. If you have any questions, email me. Valete omnes.